Hello, hello. Welcome to Verbling. Hi there. I'm Teacher Oakley, and we're going to continue in this class talking about prepositions. All right. Last class we concentrated on time prepositions. We're going to look at a whole bunch of prepositions in this class, which are often confusing for second language learners. Try to understand them. Hello, Max.
Hello again.
Hello again. Yes, it's nice to be me. Okay. Okay. We're going to look at some other often confusing prepositions here. So a whole range of them, actually. I see no reason not to get started. Okay, and then at the end of class, again, we're going to try to do some exercises to test what we have learned. First, let us talk about at and to describe location. You use at to explain where you or someone else or something else is at the time of speaking. For example, she is at the station. The implication is right now. Where is she? She's at the station. We're talking about yourself. I am at the shops. Or talking about the knife. Well, now this can be complicated. I almost used a very bad example. I was thinking about my kitchen knife, and I was going to describe its location to you, but I would not. Of course, it's my knife's location, a thing's location. Okay. My knives are located in my kitchen drawer. Or perhaps there's one knife on the counter. All right, so things can be on something, on top of something. They can be in something, in a closet, in a drawer. Okay. But a person can also be in a place, she's somewhere in the mall. I'm not sure where. Okay. She's on her bicycle. Okay, she's on top of the bicycle. So we can also use in and on. So at and to are not the only ways to describe location. But anyway, at is used to describe where someone is, like right now. I'm at the shops. If last class we were talking about time, and at is used for a specific time. Well, when it comes to location, at is used for a specific place. Exception, weep, 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 alert, alert, English exception, imminent. Here it is. You can't use at with countries, cities, or towns. She is at Spain. Cannot do it. You have to use she is in Spain. Even though I am speaking about right now, she is in Spain. Okay, so this is an area that's often confusing for second language speakers. This is the way I think about it, how I logic it out in my brain, is that countries, cities, and towns have borders. Just like a wall, she's in her house. Okay, a house has walls or borders, clearly delineated lines of inside and outside. Okay, in that case, you're in. You would be in a submarine. All right, there's a clear in and out of a submarine.
Sorry, but
yeah.
I following your logic. Like, I am at the shops, but shops have walls. They have walls.
I'm at the shops. Well, she's at the station. The station has walls. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. She's at home. Okay. I can say she's in the station as well. All right. but the implication is not just basically telling where she is. I'm actually stressing the fact that she is inside the station. Okay, you're right. So maybe my logic doesn't hold true completely. Why we couldn't use that. All right, maybe my logic is faulty. Maybe you're just going to have to remember that you need to use in for countries, cities, and towns. What is the difference, Igor, if I said I want to, let's meet at the mall at 3 o'clock. Where are you going to meet me?
At the mall.
But where? Logically. If that's all I said, I text you, let's meet at the mall.
Where you are right now.
Okay. Most logically, you would probably meet me at the main front gate. Or at least for native English speakers.
That's what you were talking about.
Yeah, kind of. Because then it would be different if I text you and I said, okay, Igor, meet me in the mall.
Well, then I would meet you inside the mall.
That's right. And I would very likely text you, meet me in the mall at the, okay, whatever, shop, okay, at the supermarket. Okay, yeah, sure. At the gun shop counter. For example. All right.
Sounds ominous.
Okay. We'll buy some guns. We'll have a great time. Okay. By the way, before I continue, a quick shout out and welcome to hi Igor and hi Andre. Hello, hello. Hi Andre. And hello Shadow. Shadow.
Yeah, hello.
Wow. Is that your real name?
My name is Shadin. This is for short.
Shadow. Very mysterious. Makes you sound very very intriguing and mysterious. Only the shadow knows for sure. Okay. Excellent. Where are you from, Shadow?
Yeah, I'm from Saudi Arabia.
Ah, excellent. Okay. Well, welcome to the class, and I really like your name.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, and also Hussein is with us again. Hello, Hussein.
Hello, Oakley.
Howdy, howdy.
How are you?
I'm great. Doing great. Okay, we're looking at some other prepositions, more prepositions that cause confusion because there's weird exceptions and things like that. Let's talk about to. You say to talk about someone else or something that is in a different location now, but you can use it to talk about where someone is now, but you cannot ever use to talk about where you are now. It sounds very weird. Frankly, a native speaker probably would just look at you with a dumbfounded expression and not really understand what you mean. For example, it's okay for me to say she went to the station. I'm talking about, I'm using, notice the verb to go, past tense, went. Okay, so I'm talking about the movement. All right, to is used to talk about movement. She went to the station. I'm going to go to Spain. All right, I'm talking about the movement here. Of course, you can assume if I say she went to the station that in fact she's probably still there. It's pretty much automatically inferred. Okay, it's the past tense, but well, as I said, we assume she's still at the station now, so it's basically the same meaning as she is at the station. Okay. I cannot talk about myself. I cannot say I am to the station. I can't even say, you know, if we're on the phone and you ask where are you, I can't say I went to the station. That sounds very strange. I would have to say I am at the station.
But you can say that you're going to the station.
Yes, in future tense. I am going to the station. I will, or other simple future form with will. I will go to the station very soon. Yes.
But by the way, I said but you. Shouldn't be but you.
But you. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, true. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, two, also, I would like to express the idea that two two really is talking about movement. All right. What is the difference? Let me pick on someone else. Andre, what is the difference between, let's see, if I say, I threw the stick, to the dog. All right. What is the meaning? What do you want to happen if you throw a stick to a dog? Andre, are you there?
Oh, yes.
Okay, if you threw the stick to the dog, what would you probably like to happen?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Okay. Simple. Let me see if I can. Shadow, what do you think? If I threw the stick to the dog, what does that mean?
Towards the dog.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you hope is going to happen if you throw a stick to a dog?
He's gonna catch it.
Yeah, you're playing with the dog. You throw a stick to the dog. Yeah, absolutely. But what if you throw a stick at the dog?
It means that I'm beating him, or
Yeah, that's right. You want
okay.
to hear the dog. Absolutely. Shadow, one more. How about if I throw a stick for the dog?
I think it's like to the dog. It's to make him to play with him.
That's right. It's actually for the benefit of the dog, and it's much more similar to the first one. It's very similar. Slightly different emphasis. You're emphasizing, if I threw a stick for the dog, it's a purpose. You want to make the dog happy. You want the dog to get exercise, whatever. There's a purpose. To the dog, you're just talking about motion. At, you're talking about, again, just like we use at 3:45, I'm at the station. You're talking about specifically. So you throw a stick at the dog. You specifically want to hit the dog. All right. Sometimes you will hear English speakers say, I might say, talk to me, don't talk at me. All right. You may hear this expressed. If you talk at someone, it's a one-way thing, and you're basically trying to hit the person with your words. Okay. If you talk to someone, then there's the idea of motion back and forth. And if you talk for someone, you talk in their behalf. In their behalf, for their benefit, a purpose for their benefit. So, again, same kind of thing.
I didn't understand what's the difference between to the dog and at the dog. What mean the same?
Okay, if I throw a dog to the stick. Sorry, let me say that again. If I throw a stick to the dog is over there, and I'm throwing the stick, and I hope the dog catches it or gets it and brings it. Okay, just the motion.
I don't understand at the dog.
At the dog, I'm actually trying to hit the dog. I'm trying to wound the dog. I want the dog to go away. The dog is scary.
Oh,
So I throw a stick at the dog, actually trying to hit the dog. Okay? If you throw a rock at someone, the idea is you're trying to injure them, actually. Okay. 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 All right. And we talked about this a little bit in the last class with time prepositions. We're going to throw in another word, ago, and talk about it again. You use for to indicate a period of time. He's been traveling for 5 years. Okay, you use since to indicate one specific time in the past. He has been traveling since 2007. Again, as I mentioned in the last class, notice when we use for or since, indicating a period of time, notice the verb tense that we have to use. Has been traveling. Has been is a perfect form, and in this case we actually use the continuous as well. It's a perfect continuous form. The perfect form is going to be used with for. It's also used for since. He has been traveling since 2007. Okay. Now, ago. Never use ago with the present perfect. It is for past tenses only. Let's try it out. Max, can you try making me a sentence with ago?
Okay, I start to learn English 10 years ago.
Okay.
I started.
Very good. Okay, you caught yourself. Very good. Yes, it has to be. It has to be in the past. I started to learn English 20 years ago. All right. Okay, a long time ago, there was no electricity. Okay, there was no electricity. Even if we're using it as a time clause or a time phrase in the beginning of a sentence, it's still going to be past tense. Actually, this is a very common mistake. People try to use ago with present, and obviously completely impossible with future tenses. Okay, let's talk about some collocations with verbs. Okay, Igor has a pronunciation question about started. Started. I'm an American. If I were British, I would say I started to learn English 20 years ago. As an American, yes, I'm going to use a flapped D, actually, or fast D. I started to learn English 20 years ago. Yes, I would commonly use my American English pronunciation to do that. Yep, definitely. All right, collocations with some verbs. Many verbs, actually. I would be so bold as to say many verbs are collocated with specific prepositions. Well, the sad news is you kind of have to learn those. There's no real rules here. More or less, they can be kind of delineated into groups of similar verbs with similar purpose or meaning, usually get the same preposition, truly enough. But there are no real specific rules. So one thing when you're learning English, you do have to pay attention to collocations and verb preposition collocations. definitely common. You must remember it's always arrive in and come to. When you're talking about countries, cities, villages, and so on, when it's a general place. However, the cinema, my house, airport, you used arrived at. Okay. For example, they will arrive in London at 6 p.m. I can't say they will arrive at London. I can't say past tense they arrived at London. I can't say that. I can say they will come to London in December. Okay. Or they came to London in December, past tense. Sure, no problem. However, how would I do this with, let's choose one, okay, cinema. Igor, how can I talk about the cinema? All right, in future tense, let's say, for example.
I will arrive to the cinema.
No.
Doesn't sound right. At the cinema.
I will arrive at the cinema. Okay. At 8 p.m., let's say. Okay. For example, I will arrive at the cinema. Okay. Okay. We'll arrive in and come to. All right. We arrived at the cinema. We arrived at my house yesterday. All right. So specific locations we use at. Buildings or locations. Do you actually hear the? Okay. Your other question here. Do I hear the difference between arrive in and arriving? They will arrive in London at 6 p.m. Actually, I'd never thought about that question, Igor. I never thought about that. We will arrive in Spain. We will be arriving in Spain. Yeah, we tend not to. We don't, and actually, we don't. Some ing verbs. I'm not. Okay, we would reduce the pronunciation of the ing verb to just sort of in sound, right? I understand what you're saying. I am running late today instead of running late. I think that we just basically never reduce pronunciation of arriving. We always give it full pronunciation, arriving. Asking which is more commonly used, cinema or movie theater. Personal preference. Doesn't really matter. We arrive at the movie theater at 8. Totally personal preference, and sometimes we'll use other words. The cineplex, the multiplex. You know, they give those new modern cinemas with like 10 different movies playing at once. They're at some kind of plex. The movieplex, the cineplex. They have different names, whatever. So it would be common to actually use that word as well. So, a personal preference, I don't think there's any real difference. Okay. Good or bad for me. Another common problem here. Good or bad for me versus good or bad to me. Hello, Nadir, by the way. Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Welcome.
Thank you. When do we use arrive to?
We don't. You can't. It's always arrive in, or possibly arrive at. We will arrive at the airport at 4:45. We will arrive in. We use for countries or cities or villages. You actually never say arrive to. We will arrive to the airport. No. We will arrive to Madrid. No. And so the answer is never. Very common mistake. And people get it confused because we say come to. I will come to Madrid in September, in November, whatever. I came to Madrid last week, or I arrived in Madrid, but I can never say I came in Madrid last week, or I will come in Madrid. So come to, always co-located, come into, always arriving in. Very, very common mistake to switch those up. All right, good for me and bad for me. Bad to me, good or bad for me, and good or bad to me. If something is good or bad for you, then they have a positive or a negative effect on your physical or mental or emotional well-being. The focus is on their innate character, not specific actions. So something's, you know, eating potato chips is bad for you. It's bad for your health. Smoking is bad for your health. Okay, in a more general way. Okay, but a person can be bad for you. My boyfriend is good for me, or good for you, because he's relaxed and kind. So he helps you out in your mental, emotional state of being. All right? In a general way. Fruit is good for my body. Sure. A person is good to me when you're talking about a specific thing, an act toward you in a positive or negative way. The focus is on their actions. All right. So it is correct to say he is bad to her. No, it is correct to say he is bad to her. He always hits her. There's a specific action there. I can't say the hamburger is bad to her. It always hits her. How can a hamburger hit someone? We never say good or bad with an object. How can a pencil be good to you or bad to you? A pencil doesn't actually do any actions of itself, in and of itself.
Sorry, my button. It's
Yes.
about 2 and 4. I've heard this a lot of times, like, it's important to me and it's important for me. Is there any difference?
Yes. And here we go. Next part. 4 and 2 with nouns and verbs. You just premeditated the next section. Okay. Okay. Enrique, yes. Just to again arrive in or arrive at. You can use either arrive in or arrive at, but never arrive to. Okay. Come to, but never come in, and never come at. Just come to, arrive in, or arrive at. You use arrive at to talk about specific places. You use arrive in to talk about a city, a country, like that. Okay. Good to her, bad to her. Okay, 4 and 2 with nouns and verbs. You use for before a noun in general. We went to a restaurant for dinner. All right. I went to the shop for food. All right. On the other hand, we use to in front of an infinitive verb form. We went to a restaurant to eat, or went to a shop to buy food. Okay, Igor, your question. It is. What was your example again, Igor?
Well, I've heard people say it is important to me and it is important for me, and I just don't know if there is any difference. Those two.
Very subtle difference. It is important to me. Well, there is a difference. And okay, it is important for me. Or we often use, I've kind of mentioned it on and off over the course of the class and the previous class. For is used to show benefit. So, if something is important to me, okay, I value it. All right, I'm expressing the idea that I value it. What is important to me? My family is important to me. All right, they're very important to me. I hold them very dearly in my heart. It is important for me means there's a benefit. There's some benefit that I'm going to get, and it's also a benefit maybe even in the future. If I say my family is important for me, it kind of is. It keeps me centered. It keeps me from being too loose and wild. In my younger days, I was kind of a wild guy, but now that I have a family, I've settled down. I live a much safer and healthier life. It is actually, my family is important for me. It benefits me.
I see. So if you say that if something is important to you, then you, as you said, you think highly of it. And
yes.
It's important for you, then there is some kind of a benefit for you out of that.
Right. And sometimes it can be different. All right. For example, let's look at another example because that's a very good question, actually. Okay. Okay. I have a. Okay. If I say I have a book I want to give to you, I'm really just saying I want to transfer the book from me to you. I want to talk to you. I want to transfer information. All right. I want to give a book to you. As opposed to if I say I have a book for you, I'm intimating, I'm suggesting that this book is going to benefit you. Okay, I have a book. There is a difference, a slight difference, but it is there. Okay. The idea that this, when we use for, it's supposed to help you. Okay. Never confuse for with to with infinitives. Infinitives are always to. Why do we often use for? We use for with gerunds to show purpose or functionality. I use a fork for eating, for example. Okay. I use a fork to eat. I use a fork for eating. Again, I'm showing purpose. I use money to buy clothes. I use money for buying clothes. All right. So you're often going to see when you're choosing between an infinitive or a gerund form, the prepositions go right along with it. Now, I don't want to say there's something called a bare infinitive. Okay. You should be mindful of. You should realize this exists. Bare infinitive doesn't. It's called a bare infinitive because there is no to. This does happen. And you're using it just as you use an infinitive, but you don't need to have to. However, to is usually located. The preposition to is located with verbs, right? And for is often co-located with a gerund form, an ing form, like for eating. which is actually in a gerund form. You're using the gerund is actually a noun here. It's functioning as a noun. Okay. More. Very common prepositional mistakes that second language users make. Married to, not married with. Married with is not correct, and this is sort of an exception, weird exception, frankly. Okay, married to a lovely woman. All right, it is. Ask me. He wanted to ask me a question. You would not say he wanted to ask to me. You don't need ask me. This gets very confusing with verbs about talking. Shout, talk, tell, said, ask, explain. Oh, there's so many. All right, you have to realize that some verbs are transitive and intransitive. Some verbs actually take an object, and some do not. And this gets very confusing with these verbs related to communication. He asked me a question. He told me a story. He said to me. He explained to me. All right. Some we need the to because we actually need to form a prepositional phrase. And some take a direct object. He asked me a question. He told me a story. He told to me that he wasn't coming to work. He told me he wasn't coming to work. He said to me, or he explained to me that he wasn't coming to work. There's others. My boss dictated a letter to me. He dictated to me. He shouted, okay, shout. He shouted to me, shouted at me, he shouted for me. But not he shouted me. Doesn't work. Absolutely not. Okay. You can explain for someone too. So it's not always to. Okay. Sometimes there's other shout. You can shout at, shout for, shout to. You can explain for. He explained the math problem for me. Okay. But you wouldn't say he explained at me. That would be very strange. Here's another weird exception which you need to know. I am going home, not to home. We don't use to this for home. We just don't. It's a weird exception, and there it is. I'm going to the mall. I'm going to the store. I'm going to Spain. I'm going to the laundromat. I'm going to the bathroom. Okay, fine. Going to. With home, we just omit it. We don't use it. Okay. Let's try this. Let's try putting prepositions in the correct places in this paragraph here. All right. What preposition would you use in the sentence? Okay, I'm going to start with Hussein. Hussein?
Yeah.
We'll go one
Okay.
sentence at a time, all right? So you may have one, you may have three, whatever. Go ahead.
Okay. I moved to work and live in Spain about 6 months ago, and my husband arrived
Very
here
good.
a month later.
Of course, arrived is not a preposition, but thank you, Hussein. That was perfect. Very good. Andre, next sentence.
I remember when I arrived. At the airport.
Excellent. Yes.
At the airport to collect him.
Yes. Very good.
I was overcome with happiness.
Very good. Good. Excellent. Andre, you're definitely learning your prepositions. Let me just help you with this
Yes.
word, overwhelmed. Overwhelmed. Okay. If you're overwhelmed with something, you can be overwhelmed with happiness. Too much happiness. You can be physically overwhelmed by a wave at the beach. You're at the ocean and a giant wave will knock you off your feet, smash you into the sand. You're overwhelmed by the size of the wave. You can be overwhelmed with work. Okay, I am overwhelmed with paperwork in the office. There's too much. All right, great job. Great job, Andre. Nader? Next.
He had a long flight, so we went to buy a cup of tea first, and then went out for dinner in the evening.
Okay, very good. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting, right? Went out to dinner or went out for dinner?
For dinner.
It could be either, actually.
Dinner is a verb?
Well, out to dine. No, it's not, but it's very common to hear they went out to dinner. Why? Because, okay, went out, well, why? Because dine is a verb. Okay, we went out to breakfast, we went out to lunch. Breakfast, lunch, sup, and dinner, you can't use breakfast and lunch as a verb. We're going to lunch at ABC restaurant today. Okay, we're going to lunch. We're going to breakfast at home. We're going to dinner. We're going to dinner at ABC restaurant. You can actually say that. I think it's a weird exception because really the verb for dinner is dine. The verb form of lunch or breakfast is lunch and breakfast. So I think this is a weird exception, but it is very common to say out to dinner. Let's go out to dinner tonight. Or let's go out for dinner, which makes more grammatical sense. Also, Nader, I noticed your preferences. You said went out to buy a cup of tea.
Cup of tea, maybe because I don't drink coffee.
Yeah, maybe. I thought it was funny. I noticed. Okay, I think this is a weird exception. Went out to dinner. Went out to, well, okay. Went out dancing. Went out to dance. All right. Okay. I think it's a weird exception.
By the way, can we say Italy played Brazil yesterday and Italy won Brazil yesterday?
Italy played Brazil yesterday. Italy
won?
No. Italy won against Brazil yesterday. Italy won yesterday, I can say that, but I can't say I won you. I can say I beat you. We had a race, okay? Imagine you and I had a race. I could say I beat you. I can't say I won you.
I
have to say I won.
I guess I heard that it was weird for me.
Yeah. Or I defeated you. Yeah, that would also work. Okay, Max, next sentence.
I hadn't seen him in a month, so we had a lot of things for talk about.
No, Max.
To talk about.
To talk about. It's a verb, right? Just remember, generally speaking.
Oh yeah, for talking about.
To verb, for noun or gerund is the general rule. Okie dokie. Igor, next.
After we had eaten, we went home to relax.
Perfect. Okay. Hussein, back to you. Hussein, are you there? Okay, might have a connection problem. I'm gonna jump over to Andre. Andre,
Our daughter called us from her mobile phone at about 9:30 p.m. To ask where that was.
perfect, excellent, very good. Nader, back to you.
I explained to her that I explained to sorry I rejoined.
Something
I
weird
explained to
coming up.
her that he was at home with me.
Yep,
That's all.
yep, that's all. Good job. Your audio sounds a little strange, muffled, like you're talking through a cloth or something. Okay. Oh, now it's better. Okay, great. Max. Max, can you try this
I've
next?
been married to Jim for 19 years, and we met to work
No. A
at work.
specific, yeah, a specific place. At the mall, at the cinema, at work.
At the work.
At, at, at work. You don't need the. At work.
Okay.
Okay. That's tricky because you're okay at work. You're dealing with the general idea of work, in which case work is in fact uncountable. You don't need to. You don't need an article. You can't say works because it's not countable. All right, at work. Okay. Igor, next.
This one is tricky. I got really stressed about work, but Jim is very calm and easygoing. He's good. Well, I think both. He's good to me or he's good for me. Both would do, I think.
Both would do. I agree with you. I
But
think.
we talking about like she says that she gets really stressed, and I think she tries to imply that Jim helped her to become unstressed. So
Right.
I think it's for me.
Right, because it's a benefit. I agree with your logic and your explanation. I agree completely. Okay. Here's a part with nothing, so I'll read it, I guess. I don't know why. Hussein, make you read the whole thing. Hussein, since you missed your turn last time, and you're here twice. Anyway,
Yes,
there's two.
okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. When we first met, I had just ended a very bad relationship with another man. He often called me I was stupid and borrowed a lot of my money without paying it back. He was bad for me during our relationship.
Well, again, we can argue, is it 4 or 2?
Or two, yeah.
But since he is doing actions, he told me I was stupid, and he borrowed a lot of money without paying it back. I would say 2. He was bad to me. I say these are specific actions. Yeah, what an incredible jerk. Really? Okay. Andre, back to you.
I knew then that I wanted to be with.
No. Here,
Sorry.
I explained.
Yes, I explain all this to Jim.
Very good.
A few months after we met, and he was so understanding and kind. Sorry.
Yep. Okay. And then the end of the story. Nader?
I knew then that I wanted to be with him forever. We have been happy the day we married. On?
Well, let's let's hope they were happier than just the day they met. Okay.
Since?
Yeah, there we go. Since the day we married, a time in the past up until now, and notice the use of the present perfect tense with since. Always,
Sorry.
always.
Could I change it to something like, we have been happy ever since we married?
We've been happy ever since we married. Indeed, you can, and that is a very common construction, a very common collocation. Ever since, and then a time. Okay. Ever since my new neighbors moved in, I haven't been able to sleep. Okay, again, a negative, but a present perfect. Ever since my new neighbors moved in, I haven't been able to sleep because of their stupid dog barking all day.
Yeah, I ask that because I usually hear ever since, not since the day, just ever since. Ever since.
Yeah,
People like to say that.
people like to say it, and I think, yes, people like to use this construction. I don't really think it's necessary. It doesn't change anything grammatically. I think it's kind of like saying till or until. It's kind of your choice. Or we discussed earlier, saying cinema or movie theater. It depends. All right. Which is correct? There's two sentences. You have a 50-50 chance here of being correct. Max, let's start with you. Number one, which sentence is correct?
B.
Very good. I arrived at the station at about 7 p.m. Okay. Go ahead, Igor. Read the sentence you think is correct. Number two.
Where are you? I'm in the shops. Where are you? I'm at the shops. Wow, at the shops. B.
Actually, I kind of think either could be possible. I'm in the mall. I'm at the mall. I don't think it matters. I think it's a trick. By the way, British might say I'm in the shops. Americans would never use this expression. Okay, where I'm in the mall. I'm at the store. Okay. I'm in the shops. For me as an American, I don't even know what that means, to tell you the truth. What does that mean?
I've never heard this used like shops.
Which shops? Okay.
It's usually just a shop, not shops.
Yes, it's British. I've heard British use this before. They're talking about an area that's open to the sidewalk where there are many shops, like a shopping area, I guess. All right.
You mean like stalls?
Yeah, a whole bunch of stores. Well, stalls. I don't even know, to tell you the truth. I don't know. Americans would never use that. We use much more specific. I'm on Oak Street, or I'm at. I don't know. I'm at the car dealership. Whatever. I'm at the National Bookstore. Okay. Specifically. San, number three. Read the one you think is correct.
10. I haven't been there for 7 years.
Is correct. You're right. Problem here, I haven't been there since 7 years ago. No, since 1992. You have to give a specific time. And although 7 years ago may seem like a specific time, it's not. This is also a very common mistake, even for native speakers, and it's actually grammatically incorrect. Andre, number 4.
I didn't see my sister for many years.
Very good. You're absolutely correct. For a period of time. Since has to be since a specific time in the past. Excellent. Hey there.
I arrived in Spain 4 months ago.
You got it. With places, towns, cities, states, countries, always we use in. Okay, Max, number 6.
I think A. They came to this country in December.
Yes, the motion from one place to another. Transfer. Transfer is the key. To means transfer. You cannot use, in the country, they arrived in this country in December would be okay. Very good. Igor, number 7.
I'm going to the shops to buy a coat. I'm going to the shops for buy a coat. Okay, A is correct.
Yes, it is. And furthermore, you would just never say, "I'm going to the shops for buying a coat." That sounds weird, totally weird, and you would never say that. So it doesn't always work. There's not always a possibility of saying "for" with a gerund. Sometimes absolutely no. Sometimes it's okay to use an infinitive or a gerund. Sometimes you must use an infinitive. Sometimes you must use a gerund. Hussein, number 8.
He explained to me that he was going to be late.
Yeah. Very good. And I need to explain to you that I am already late. Okay. We are out of time. We're just plumb out of time. But thank you, everyone. Thank you for your participation. Great job. I really think clearly some people learned a little bit about prepositions, so that's great. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
See you again real soon.
Bye.